football at its absolute best.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win. He got it.
If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, June 4th, and your Tennessee Volunteers, the Fighting Tony Vitellos, are headed to their third straight Super Regional. And I might have to own up to a mistake. We won't know, but very likely now they get to play in Lindsey Nelson one more time. Is looking pretty good right now. If Penn beats Southern Miss, 100% done deal. Southern Miss wins, chance it goes to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, but I like the chances of Landon. You're going to be sitting in the MVP section this time next week.
Dude, I can't freaking wait. And all those people that are like, look at Tennessee's road record. Well, guess what? They only had to win one road game, and that's it. That's the only road game they'll ever have to play in the whole postseason. So
don't tell the NCAA that. It's a neutral site, Landon. It's a neutral site.
No.
I love all the tiny NCAA banners hanging up around the stadium to make it seem like a neutral site. And it's obvious. I mean, come on.
The Cajun Cafe.
The Cajun, yeah, that's why it was just neutral site. It's normally not there. Yeah, it is very funny. It's obviously been a good weekend though. The Lady Vols are currently playing. What is that score? They were up 2-0 when I left your house.
I think it's still 2-0.
I'm sorry, I'm pulling it up now. Hadn't done that yet. They were up 2-0 on Oklahoma State. Speaking of road games, so they've got to win. This is elimination for them. Win or go home.
Yep.
And yeah, that would.
Still 2-0.
Okay, still 2-0. We're good. Everybody calm down. We're fine. Everybody relax. We're good. And we wouldn't see Oklahoma until the final now, if they were to continue winning. Who they lost their first game in Oklahoma City too.
Where is Wofford in South Carolina or North Carolina?
Wofford is South Carolina.
Okay, so Tennessee has a really good record against South Carolina teams. Beat Wofford, they went 2-1 in Columbia. Beat Charlotte twice, which that's North Carolina. So, I guess the Carolinas in general.
Yeah, just call them the Carolinas. Yeah. That'll be fine. Yeah, and I mean Tennessee. Clemson seemed to benefit a lot from how bad Tennessee was there in football for a few years. So now that you have a win in football and a big win in baseball, I mean, both were big wins, but one, I was going to call it more. It's more important to the season overall. I guess you could argue an Orange Bowl is probably more important than a regional in baseball, but in terms of season, more important this one. So it's good. It kind of feels like maybe Landon, can we say it? Are the Vols back?
I think we're back, and I think, any team that wears orange, we just destroy. How about that?
I like that. Oklahoma State, you're next.
We're the top dog wearing orange. Also, we beat Charleston Southern twice, so there's another South Carolina team.
There you go. All right.
So
just roll them up.
Yeah.
If you're from the
Western Carolina, if we just want to go all Carolinas, we can just do that.
That's fine with me. I don't think there's any Carolina teams left in the Coastal's still alive. They won an elimination game against Rider.
They play Duke tomorrow for, I think.
They'd have to win twice.
Yeah. Okay.
They'd have to win twice. I don't know who else is left. I don't feel like going through that list. We do have a good show, though. We're going to talk about the regionals. It was a fun weekend, man. We're going to talk about that. Of course, the 14-inning game that, let me check, it may still be going on right now, so we may have to wait for that one to end to get there.
I'm still recovering from it. And
mentally
wild
and physically, because it went so late. You're doing both.
Yeah, the fact that Tennessee was able to come out and win the way that they did, I think, is even more impressive because I'm still exhausted from that game. I know they were.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Clemson's pitchers weren't, because they just throw one and get out of there.
Yeah.
Throw your best stuff and move on.
Or if they are really good, then, they'll just replace them with somebody else and hopes they can get at least one out. But
exactly. It's called by committee, Landon.
Yeah.
Learn it, live it, love it. We talked about that Lady Vols in OKC. We've got Patrick Eady. I mean, just shout out for him keeping us up to date. Oklahoma State did just hit a home run, so it's 3-1 now, top of the 6th. Appreciate that. Keep us updated, because my ESPN's sucking. Yeah, I guess we were up 3-0 at the top of the 6th. Was his first update. Is now 3-1. But yeah, so we'll talk a little Lady Vols here in a minute too. If you got any questions, drop them in the chat. Of course, we got our most important of the week and fail of the week. Before we get into the show, though, I am going to tell you guys about some of our friends. Guys, Underdog is Knoxville's best sports collectible store with a wide selection of UT cards, autographs, and memorabilia. Whether you're looking for a Peyton Manning autographed helmet or the most recent Topps baseball card release, you'll find it at Underdog. The shop is owned by UT graduates and proudly supports UT sports by hosting NIL events throughout the year. Stop by the University Commons Shopping Center next to Publix and Domino's to check them out. They're open 6 days a week with live YouTube shows 3 nights per week. Remember, always bet on the Underdog. Shout out to Underdog Sports. They're awesome. Love them. Oh, there's so much baseball still being played. It's
supers. Yeah, and so many games got delayed, so it's just the whole schedule's just off.
It is.
You don't know if this is an elimination game or not.
I've been super confused. Thankfully, I'll give one shout out to the ESPN app. It's done a good job of showing elimination games, and the ones that are regional finals. But then you got to go back and make sure that you're right about who would have to win twice, because, like you said, it's been so jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
But good news, we can all celebrate together. 69 of us, nice. I guess 71 if you count me and Landon. So that's not fun. But it's official. Tim Corbin and the Vandy boys, not the Vandy men, have been eliminated from postseason baseball. Congratulations to Vanderbilt. Your 2023 season has now come to an end. Yeah, they run the state, though,
I hate it for them. I really do.
The guy I do feel bad for is the guy that believes in that team so much that he had to drive home in that van covered in Vandy stuff after losing at their own regional early. Didn't even make it to the regional final.
I love it. I love the team that it goes to show you Hoover, who gives a crap about Hoover?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Who cares? No one cares.
Yeah, and we've always said it. I'll always say it. Get that one, every couple years. So you get the trophy. It's a fun time. But at the end of the day, it ain't the one that matters.
No. Nope. I think Vanderbilt would trade it if they could right now.
100%. I mean, we would trade an Omaha appearance for it last year. Arkansas, same thing 2 years ago. That. It's not a lie, but it was fun. I'll always say it was fun.
Yeah.
Where does fun get you, though?
A team's headed to the Super Regionals, didn't even score a run in Hoover. Love it.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. That is 100% true.
So we're going.
We're going.
That was a question I got asked. Are y'all going? Yes.
Wait, to where?
The Supers.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant Omaha. And I was like, I mean, we can say it. I don't know if we will if we go. Yeah. We might. Money. It's a lot of money. And it's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. We may end up in Omaha.
I might just hitch a ride with the Beams.
That's an option. I think that's an option.
She's invited me like 10 times. So
and she may not know this. She may not know this, but because she invited you, she invited me.
Yeah. I feel like it might be one of those invitations where like, oh yeah, like you can come, but you're never going to say yes. If I do say yes, then
fun fact,
trap.
Yeah. I think that's the plan. That's smart. And you'll have 2 extra rides. It'll kind of be like you're driving, to a weekend tournament where it turns out one kid's parents can't go, so you got to take him with you.
Yeah, we're just a carry-on bag. It's fine.
Yeah, nothing big. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Yeah, but I mean, this is I didn't especially as that game got late and their starting pitcher is dealing going into the 8th inning, 9th inning, sweating. I guess we're kind of jumping ahead to the 14-inning game. I mean, Friday was a great start. I mean, I don't know. This Tennessee pitching staff's really good. They're very good. Friday was nice and smooth, I think is the way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday, bumpy, but Dollander performed. Burns got himself into some tough situations, performed. I talked about this on Thursday. You asked, I think, the key player of the series, or the I guess not series, but the weekend.
Yeah.
X Factor. Chase Burns is the defensive guy for me. When he came in, he had to be a psychopath. And when bases got loaded, no outs, he turned into a psychopath.
Yeah. Who did I say?
You said, who did you say defensively? You might have said Dollander. You might have. It was another pitcher defensively. We both went with pitchers.
Okay.
I think. So, I mean, also correct.
Yeah. Oh, we're just correct.
Right. We're always right. It's no big deal.
Right.
And then, I mean, a huge weekend. I think offensively, this was not my X factor. Christian Moore. I mean, today. All weekend a performance, but today, what a performance.
MVP of the regional.
He did get it? Okay. Yeah, I left before that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, huge. And then another guy that comes up big on that Saturday game. We just got mentioned here on Facebook too. Zane Denton. I mean, good Lord. And then today, just kind of like cherry on topped it with that. What'd they say? It went 426 feet off the batter's eye?
426.
426 feet. And that's, I mean, just a ball.
Christian Moore's?
Oh, was that Christian Moore that went?
Christian Moore's
okay.
went 426.
426.
They both hit the batter's eye.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of home runs today. Just get a little.
Yeah, I think those two combined for 7 on the weekend, which that's wild. Two guys, two veterans in this lineup that you just need that presence in the postseason, and you got it. You want those guys playing their best baseball at this time of year, and it looks like those two are.
And you mentioned Christian Moore as a guy who's played in a regional and who had to step up. You did mention him along with some other names. But yeah,
Denton, same way. He's playing in a regional.
Yeah. Veteran-like performance. Zane Denton's 3-run blast. Jeez. And it sucked. Could have won the game right then and there. Wouldn't have had to stay up late at night. Landon might not have – well, no, you got bug bites after the Zane Denton home run. Never mind. You still would have had those.
It was worth it. I took my shirt off. That's the thing I do. I don't realize that I do it, but I
all
do.
The time.
Yeah.
You're a tarps off guy.
Yeah, tarps off. Took my shirt off. Somebody threw me a beer down the driveway, picked it up. I was really thankful it wasn't just like a spitter because I just poured it all on my face.
That would have sucked.
Yeah, that would have
been a good prank.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Zane Denton home run just was honestly shocking. You watch it again. I think it was the moment so tense. I told you Zane knew right off the bat, literally right off the bat, and I was like, "Hold your breath. Like, just let's wait and see what happens here." And then it ends up completely out of the stadium. We actually never get to see it come down.
Yeah. I think that's like I felt like we were so tense like the entire time, even in extra innings. The review for the double play. I just felt like I was like, they say the worst thing like in a car wreck is like people see it coming, so they tense up real bad. And It makes it worse. I feel like that's how I was.
Yeah, that one would have really. I think that's a great example because that one would have really hurt because I saw it coming in the sense of I didn't think it'd get overturned.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, like. There's literally a still picture that shows how much of an out it was. But in my head, this is just where it goes the wrong way. And I told you today, I didn't think whoever lost that game was going to lose at noon today. Was it noon start?
Yeah.
I didn't think that was when they would lose, but I thought whoever lost that game would not be the regional winner. That was what I said in my head. Turns out I was correct, just wrong about the game time that would occur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look who like Tennessee used. You're playing to win that game for sure. Both teams are, but you really want to win that game after you burn Dollander, Burns, and Halverson.
Yeah,
like it becomes like, hey guys, we have to win. Now Tennessee has some luxury where they they have some guys that can pitch, but if you threw everything out there to win that ball game, where you didn't have to win 3 in a row to get to super regionals.
100%. And then it makes that noon game that Drew Beam pitches today interesting because, like you said, if you throw those 3 guys and lose, does Camden Sewell come out of the bullpen? Like, it makes a lot of things interesting. So yeah, it was a must win in a lot of ways for sure. And number one, I mean, you talked about it that Tennessee goes up in the 9th, obviously, and then Clemson ties it. That right there, you're just thinking, especially it's an away game. The crowds, the momentum's completely shifted, not just on the field, but with the crowd. To stay in that and win it, I mean, that's impressive. It's very impressive.
Yeah.
We might have found some grit this week, like some real grit this weekend, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like this team refused to lose. I mean, even, that double play, I mean, it just stands out to me. I mean, down to your final strike. I mean, that wasn't the first time Tennessee's seen that. We saw it against Vanderbilt with Dylan Dreiling, and this team has some magic about them, and it was nice to kind of put it all together for this weekend. And you swept it. I mean, we're in here thinking like, maybe if you can try to beat Clemson, who are we getting in suit? Like, who would we get if we end up getting out of this regional? But I mean, Tennessee didn't really have other than Clemson, that was a really good baseball game, probably the baseball game of the year.
Right.
But I mean, those 2 teams are probably well suited for Omaha, and Clemson was riding a 17-game win streak.
Yeah.
And you broke that.
ACC champs.
Yeah. For them to have all that momentum, and they threw their top guy, and Tennessee just found a way to win.
Who had himself a day. I mean, obviously on the mound, we talked about it. I think I let him attempt to throw that last out. I mean, that one's going to sting for a while for him, I'm sure. But I mean, obviously plays well at the plate too. And then they move him to first to keep him in the lineup, and plays really well at first too. Makes a huge out literally with his glove. Mm-hmm. We also had a question though about the Zane Denton home run before I don't think we'll move away from it anytime soon, but just in case, which home run was better, Zane versus Clemson or Gilbert walk-off grand slam?
Moment wise, it's got to be Drew Gilbert. But if we're talking about all around game, that was
okay. Yeah, no, for sure. That's a good point. I was just thinking like just the home run by itself, remove the moment, it's probably still Gilbert. That because it was just a moonshot. I mean,
grand slam. Yeah,
he didn't have the cool where he literally got to take it. I mean, thankfully for Zane, they have that like bleacher area with a cover, and it clears that too. I think it might have hit the top of that and gone out of the stadium.
Now, if that home run had ended the game, if Zane was a walk-off, I think we're thinking about it a little differently. Now, I don't know if it takes over Drew Gilbert's, but in that moment, I feel like it's got to be up there.
It's got to be up there. The problem is Drew Gilbert's is the moment every kid dreams of when they think about being a baseball player. Bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, bases loaded. Like that's the dream.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if Tennessee's the home team, like it would have been at Lindsey Nelson,
right?
So a 3-run walk off,
not a grand slam. He doesn't get to call it a grand slam. That's my issue. That's not the moment. Like,
but
that's
it's
the problem.
Clemson and Wright State. I think that has to take into account.
They were both regionals though. If it was a Wright State midweek game or something like that, yeah, I'm probably going Clemson for sure. But they're both regionals.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess if Tennessee was at home, Clemson wouldn't be the number 4 seed.
I do think it's a very close second.
Oh, 100%.
It's like that's what's insane about Zane Denton's. The only thing that could uproot it is a bottom of the 9th grand slam.
Yeah,
2 outs.
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing that can. That's it.
I think it just helps a little bit too. Just being in that conversation is Zane Denton's from Alabama. It just kind of helps the sting a little bit.
That's fair. Yeah, we did get that guy from them. It was an awesome home run. It was an awesome moment. It was hilarious too, just because watching Chris last name line pitcher for Clemson.
Oh, Grice.
I wanted to call him Grimes, and that's Walking Dead. He's pumped when he comes off the mound, throws his pitcher's glove into the dugout, gets his His first, like, he thought it was over too. He thought that was all she wrote.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, that did give me more.
Finish it.
That did get me more excited that Wright State's pitcher looked terrified to throw anything to Drew Gilbert. Yeah. And that one you did get to knock down some cocky dudes. So
that and like to win that game where, like, I mean, some things went Tennessee's way, but not everything went your way.
No.
You know, having, you know, smoking one to that Grice play. I mean, not a lot of first basemen make that play.
Right.
You know, you kind of dink one at shortstop. I mean, you had your Maui and Inslee combined for 7 strikeouts. That's your top 2 hitters. Inslee, before he hits that double in the 14th, he's 0 for 6. I mean, I guess at some point you got to put him in play.
Yeah. Right.
And I also want to, like, give a shout out to Cal Stark. I mean, him behind the plate has been a game changer for Tennessee. And
yeah,
he's increased that level of play these last couple weeks as well. I mean, he threw out 2 guys this weekend. I think on the year he's thrown out like 5 until that moment, until this weekend. So I mean, really good for him to get that kind of production. And you know, if he's helping you so much, like get guys off the base pass, I mean, the bat isn't a huge issue.
Right. And I think too, for him, we've seen flashes of his bat, so that kind of helps it too. Like maybe he does, maybe next week at Supers, maybe he helps us out, you know, at the plate. But like, I think I agree with what you're saying. Also, Lady Vols just won. Like you said, it's the right orange.
So we got to beat Oklahoma twice.
Yes, I believe that's right. I'll have to pull up the. Oh, I don't know what I just did. I'll pull it up. I'll get us going. Maybe not.
So this is the regional all tournament team. Tennessee, Christian Moore, Zane Denton, Griffin Merritt, Andrew Lindsay, and then Christian Moore was the MVP.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know how Clemson got more than Tennessee, but whatever. I guess we'll let you have that one.
Right.
That's another thing. Andrew Lindsay, man, shoved.
Yes, he did.
And we talked about it on the last shows. Like, Tennessee is set up for postseason play with this pitching staff.
Right.
And Andrew Lindsay, that's not an easy thing to go play your team. Play your former team.
Right. Sorry, just while we're real quick, we got to play Florida State. We got to beat Florida State twice. If we lose one, we're eliminated. And
okay,
then we play Oklahoma. We play Oklahoma in the final series. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. I just found the bracket, so I was gonna update that real quick. You can go back to the regional team. Yeah, they're Stanford. Yep. I knew we wouldn't see him till the final, but I didn't know who was on our side of the bracket. But it's Florida State. There you go.
Okay. FSU. Feels like 98.
That's right. Get ready. That will be tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Okay.
And then they'll play again tomorrow night if necessary. So we need the Vols playing till midnight, I reckon.
Trying to see how many.
What are we looking up?
How many RBIs Christian Moore had this week?
Oh, Lord. 12? Does that sound right?
Probably.
No, I was trying to remember what they said. Or was it? It might have been 8. Someone had 12 this
8.
weekend. Okay. I think it was
the dude for TCU had 10 today.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
That might be what I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's insane. I did see a comment. I don't know who it was. Sorry, I would love to give you credit that TCU was getting payback. That was the SEC's payback for the national championship. So they did it in pretty good fashion. That's as close to that performance as any team's going to get. So
maybe Arkansas was just trying to
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Doing these late night shows, this is a borderline more important issues after dark, and they just thought, why not a little Arkansas baseball after dark? We want to play late into the evening, so they started about 30 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago, and they just wanted a little hog ball after dark.
It's way past Dave Van Horn's bedtime, so
yeah, I don't know who's gonna stand in for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Are they still the Omahogs? Is that something they're rolling with?
I think they got rid of that from their stadium. I mean, smart on their part to get rid of that because that is just asking for. Especially when they play Tennessee, it's like that's always going to be brought up. Even like 20 years later, after they removed it, somebody's going to bring it up on Twitter.
Oh, I will not let it be forgotten. That is something I will not let be forgotten. We do have a comment about the defense all around. I thought the defense all around was really good this weekend.
No errors.
No errors, and I think for the most part came up big when they had to. I mean, there were a couple plays that – I mean, and I don't think it's necessarily like you said, no errors, so obviously – doesn't get written down as an error, but there are a lot of things that weren't not to confuse, but the mistakes, the plays that just didn't get made weren't your fault. They were just Clemson made really good plays.
Yeah.
Or today there were some close plays that Charlotte made really good plays. So yeah, I think if you play defense like that next week, you'll be in Omaha.
Yeah. And like we've kind of waited for that to like be the case. There is a ton of talent in that infield, but it has been very subpar at times.
It's just shaky. There's times that you just can't, and it's crazy. We talked about this the whole season. The hard plays they make them. They make the hard plays. Some of the easy ones, and I mean you say easy because a lot of times it'll look use a baseball term routine, and they just can't get made for some reason, whatever reason it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did it this weekend. I mean.
Stand up. Standing O for the D. So I want to make sure my dog wasn't sitting here behind me before I rolled back. Oh, I'm bad.
I love that you said for the D and we like put our D's like.
Yeah, we did. That's shout out to the D's. I mean, Tom Hart was talking about the D's all over the broadcast today. So just he
also had one of my favorite lines. I've never heard that before. He was like, "Man, that ball is smoked. That'll put you in another row of the choir." I thought that's awesome. Make a little tenor action.
All right. I don't really know what else we want to talk about. I'm fired up. I'm getting to the nervous territory of similar to this weekend but we were coming off a loss that makes it a little bit better where it's like, oh my God, are we figuring it out?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely seems that way. I think Tennessee's hitting the ball well. And in the first, I think it was in the first game, like top of your lineup didn't do hardly anything.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Well, and while you're looking that up, you have the situation where Penn and Southern Miss are the two teams that stand between you and Omaha.
Yeah.
One of those two teams. And obviously we know Southern Miss is a good program. Penn is playing in the NCAA tournament. So we are getting ourselves into another FAU Final Four situation this year. But like that's the realness of it. Like you should beat them in a 3-game series. And that's the panic starts to set in a little bit a week ahead. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you kind of spread out the first game. No, I'm sorry. The second game, Clemson game. I mean, Maui had one hit. That was later in that game. That was in extra innings. Hunter Hensley obviously had the hit in the 14th. But I mean, your kind of hitters were Christian Moore and Blake Burke, who are now 5 and 6 in the lineup. So they're toward the bottom. And then Zane Denton is batting 7th. So it was kind of that group right there was, your leaders. It wasn't the top of the lineup who, we kind of said that on the last episode. We're like, you have to have those guys, Blake Burke and Christian Moore. Now we thought those guys would be at the top of the lineup, but we said that those guys have to produce. And it was kind of good for Blake Burke to see him get out of that slump a little bit and see him hit the baseball.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder what that talk will be this week of where do they stay there where they're maybe getting comfortable. But obviously you would like to see some guys at the top produce. So that'll be interesting to see where they start come either Friday night or Saturday night.
Yeah. And even tonight, first 3 hitters over.
Yeah.
Didn't even need it. So
a lot of offers in the last 2 games. I mean, that was sad and depressing to see every time we had to see it for 14 innings.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
the good thing. The opponent was the same way.
Yeah, true. Very good point. Very good point. It was still sad, depressing. I do want to talk about the ejection too, just because we have to, because it was talk of town all today and last night. We said it when Christian. We agreed on this podcast when Christian Moore got ejected for not the exact same thing, but similar. Both teams have been warned. Actually, no, I don't think there was a warning yet in that Vanderbilt game. I think they were warned after that. Or was it Saturday they got warned? Because that was a Sunday game, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe that was.
So I think there was a warning Saturday. Anyway, Sunday, Christian Moore runs up. I can't remember who it was. Play on first base, runs up, doesn't touch him, talks trash. Immediately ejected. It was a dumb ejection, but it was dumb of Christian Moore to do because you're giving the umpire an opportunity to eject you. Last night, same deal. Warnings to both teams after.
No, he got ejected on Saturday.
He did get ejected on Saturday?
Because he didn't play on Sunday.
Then maybe there wasn't a warning in that series, but I thought there was a warning to both benches in that series.
Because they ran into Dolander.
Yes, that's true. Good point. Yeah. For some reason, I thought there was a warning in Vanderbilt one. So
maybe it was Friday. I don't know.
Even different than if there wasn't. But warning to both benches. The talk, the chippiness is going to stop. We're moving on. Not saying I agree with it, but you at least did get a warning.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you're coming off the field, after you got out of an inning, you have words to Zane Denton. With an umpire right there in between you all, you're giving them a chance to eject you. It's stupid. I don't understand it. Nothing came of it. Nothing happened. But you knew that was the case. They told you that was the case. So dumb ejection for sure, but also just a dumb mistake by anyone that did that. That would have been dumb of them. Clemson, whoever it was. It just happened to be Clemson.
Canarella, that was one of their best players too.
Yeah, that too. You put your team in a terrible position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't love the ejection, but I'm also like,
you're an idiot,
right? Like, what are you doing? I mean, Zane didn't hit 2 freaking dong punches in that game. What can you say to him that would mean anything?
You also went out of your way to do it too.
Yeah.
Like
now, if it was over, if it was maybe Hunter Inslee at that point, yeah, maybe you have something to say. But Zane Denton, you should have nothing to say to that man.
And you also ended up losing the game. Yikes.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I guess he didn't get to play today.
Yeah, correct.
Your leadoff guy not getting to play. Your starting center fielder.
And I'm guarantee you we can find Clemson post on any social media about how trashy Tennessee is for doing what he got ejected for. So I mean, you wanted it to stop. They're stopping it. So
yeah,
chill.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, it's all dumb. Shouldn't have been ejected. I'll say it over and over.
I hate us because they ain't us.
Right, but you can't do that after they told you they'll eject you for it and be shocked when you're ejected.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what you can.
Well, you can't run toward a player. I mean, he was running toward a player.
That too. Well, I mean, you can,
and probably in that moment, like, I mean, I understand what Tom Hart and Kyle Peterson were saying. It's like, oh man, they played, just so many innings of baseball. Like, you can't do that. I get it, and I'm pretty sure the umpire probably didn't really want to do it. But when you run toward a player, you kind of have to do something
after the warning. Like that's the point. I need Clemson fans to understand. Mm-hmm. You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It's dumb that it's shocking to people. That's even the dumber part. I can't believe it. I mean, I'm with you. It's dumb, but I can believe it because they told you they'd do it.
Yeah.
Also, they were able to call 35 timeouts. And that's not even including their pitching changes. So their coach had plenty of time to inform their players about the warning, and he chose not to, apparently.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
Just slowing the game down. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it seemed like we were flying through the game, and then it got to the last couple innings, and felt like a lifetime.
Yeah.
Ended up being a lifetime because
Yeah,
it
it did.
5 extra innings, but man, it felt like forever.
Yeah. We didn't talk about, we briefly mentioned it. I mean, bases loaded. Was that the bottom of the 10th? What inning was that? No outs. What a performance by Chase Burns. I mean,
yep.
And we kind of talked about this too, where Grimes lets 2 on in the top of the 9th there.
Grice,
golly, I did it again. Gets 2 on, allows 2 on. You almost got to let him get out of that himself. Like, you're putting a pitcher in a bad situation there when you bring him on.
Yeah.
With Burns, you were kind of tiptoeing. I'm sure they were already discussing how long they're letting him go before that happens. And then bases get loaded. You got to let him get out of that. If you bring somebody on and they score, I mean, that's I feel like that's got to be a tough pill to swallow for both pitchers and the coach in that scenario.
Yeah. It's on them. I don't care. Man, it felt so good to be. I mean, I hate Clemson. I think a lot of it has to do with Dabo Sweeney, but
it's football. I didn't know they had a baseball program.
Yeah. Well, they definitely don't have a warning track.
It's a hill. There's a warning there. Once you break your ankle, you're almost to the fence.
Exactly. I mean, football is so worried about freaking injuries with, changing the rules on kickoffs and, the type of helmets you can wear and you can't hit a certain way. But how is that not a injury issue or even a liability issue? I know I would sue. If I was Christian Scott and I fell like that into the wall, I'm suing.
And I mean, we talked about it. I don't know for sure. He had to die. He had to make a pretty good dive, but if that hill's not there, he might make that catch. He might complete the catch. I mean, it was in his glove. Mm-hmm. He just got surprised about how quick the ground snuck up on him.
Yeah, I do want to go back to you're talking about the bases loaded, no outs.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, why do we have no one? What is Tony doing? Tony strikes again. Can't manage the pitching staff. Guys.
It worked.
It worked.
I don't know if you can. I know most I would bet a lot of baseball managers make the change there. But I don't know. I really don't know if you can. Especially after what we saw last night. We see where you leave one guy in, bases loaded, no outs, and he finishes that out, gets you out of that jam. And then you see the flip side of it, 2 on, 2 outs. You bring on a relief pitcher, and you end up losing the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying either one is right 100% of the time in every scenario or wrong 100% of the time in every scenario. But watching it last night, I didn't think Clemson should have brought on a relief there. I know 113 pitches, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, what is the difference between 101 and 120 at that point, especially when everything that's working is off speed?
Yeah, not a whole lot.
So what's the difference? And then you have the flip side of it where I am thinking, it might be time to get Chase Burns out. And then bases get loaded, and I'm thinking, don't do it to another pitcher.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like at that point you need a strikeout.
Yes.
You don't really want them to hit it in play because hitting it in play is probably unless it's a hard ground ball, you can go right to home plate.
Right.
That's scoring a run. You need a strikeout. And like who else are you going to call on besides Chase Burns? Like that's a guy you would call on to get that.
For a strikeout. Yeah.
So I mean, he was rolling, he was cruising. And so, he ends up loading the bases. It looked like it just kind of fell apart a little bit there. But, he dials it in. And at some point, like you have really good players on this team. At some point, you have to let a future big leaguer be a future big leaguer.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's exactly what Chase Burns did. Is go get an out and find a way. Find a way out of it. You're a pitcher. And Chase Burns is also now a bullpen pitcher. As a bullpen pitcher, your job is to get out of it.
Yeah.
We're bringing you in. There's a reason why we're bringing you in. Somebody got in trouble or pitch count or whatever. Get out of it.
For sure. And I think, too, kind of going into like getting out of it, I think it speaks volumes that double play to our defense. That was not an easy play to make. I mean, that chopper, I was like, of course that's how it happens. Of course that's how it happens.
Well, that's an Achilles heel, it seems like, to Tennessee, is the choppers. Yeah. I think earlier in that game, somebody
was it not that inning that chopper to first got a guy?
It was the first batter Chase Burns faced was a base hit because of that.
Okay. I thought it was maybe in that 10th inning. I couldn't remember. But there was one that, got a single chopper to first that was just difficult to field.
Yeah. I think it was the one where Maui Ahuna tried to barehand it. Yeah, that was
okay. Was that in that inning?
I think that was the first batter.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, but credit to the defense. I believe it was Christian. It was Christian and Maui, right?
Yeah.
Surely. Yeah. I mean, credit to them. That was an incredible play to make that double play.
Boy, and like
a play you had to make.
When you're coming toward home plate, usually you're thinking, I got to go home with this.
Right.
No outs, got to go home. Well, he made the right decision. There's no way you're getting that out at home.
No. And I think, too,
you had to do what you could. And, I mean, it was just in time to get the out.
Oh, I love that Clemson started to storm the field and celebrate. And, I mean, he was out. It wasn't, sure, bang, bang. But that play I thought was 100% out before we got to review.
Yeah.
And I still don't know how the first base ump missed it. I'll stand on that. I don't know how he missed it.
I mean, he just wanted for Clemson to.
When we talked about it, if he had said he came off the bag, we were talking about that night, that might make more sense because it did look like his foot may not have stayed. But that's not what he signaled. He never said he came off the bag.
No.
He thought he beat the ball to first.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then the one, who was it? I forget who it was running to first, and they called him out. And it wasn't even close. It was that one, and there was somebody else, but there were two plays where they just freaking whiffed on both of them.
I don't remember. There was one early in the game too that it wasn't as egregious as these, but it was bad. I mean, the first base ump was bad for 14 innings. Credit to him. That's a long time to be bad for. So credit to him.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Ethan. Payne's stretch to get his glove out there was very impressive on that double play. And it's going to be overlooked because of so many factors forever, but Ethan Payne was a massive part of that play.
Well, and that's huge too because he's an underrated part in this game. That play, but the 2 sack bunts that he had were massive too.
For sure.
And it was, something I was like, as soon as Zane didn't hit that home run, or how did it happen? Yes. So it was before it. They pinch run and put Ethan Payne in for Blake Burke. And I'm like,
right.
Okay. I mean, I guess you need that run from first, but like, is Ethan Payne, like, I feel like if you're scoring from first, you're probably Blake Burke would have scored too.
Yeah, you're sending Blake there probably too. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So, but it worked out. I mean, laid down a great bunt or 2 great bunts, and that's something that Tennessee struggled with all year is trying to freaking lay down some sack bunts. It's like small ball. They're like, what is this?
And you kind of got a reason why maybe. I mean, the long ball. Tennessee can hit the long ball, baby.
Yeah,
they can do it.
And for Ethan Payne to be sitting 9 innings and get up and, be in those kind of plays and, lay down some bunts like that, do what you're asked to do. Do a job, and that's all you're asked to do, and he did exactly that. And that's going to be an overlooked part in this baseball game when you look back on it. But Ethan Payne definitely deserves a ton of credit.
Yeah, 1,000%. I feel like we got we did get a question too. And Landon, you got all the stats for or you at least know who's ahead in it. So I'll let you answer this. But do the Vols deserve to host?
Hell yeah.
Tell them why. You told me why.
So the only reason why Tennessee probably or wouldn't deserve to host is if Auburn won their regional and Tennessee won theirs.
Right, but
Auburn's
now
a national seed.
Right,
So
but right now.
So then it goes to, since they don't seed the others, like the 2 seeds, they're not seeded. They don't have you see the 1 through 16. All those are national seeds. They have the right to host. Well, now it is, since both the number 1 seeds did not win, it goes to the next highest seed, which would be Tennessee. But if Southern Miss wins, since they're not ranked, they both will have to put in for a host bid.
Mm.
And then the committee will decide who will host. Well, if you're not, so it's either going to be Southern Miss and Penn. Penn's up 1-0 right now in the bottom of the first. Southern Miss has to beat them twice. But say it is Southern Miss and Tennessee. Southern Miss is behind Tennessee in the RPI. Tennessee has the strength of schedule. Obviously, they play in the SEC. We're ranked higher. We beat a 4 seed. They beat a 13 seed in the regional. I mean, I just, and the accommodations with Knoxville. Knoxville is a lot better than Hattiesburg. No offense to anybody that's listening to this thing in Hattiesburg, but let's call a spade a spade.
Part of that's Brett Favre's fault. I mean, funneling money to high school volleyball program instead of letting it go to the people. I mean, that's part of the issue. So,
yeah. So I definitely think Tennessee should be the host side. It would be an absolute choke job by the NCAA if they didn't select Tennessee if Southern Miss ended up winning. But and just Tennessee's must-see TV. I mean, how do you watch that game last night between Tennessee and Clemson and not just be like, man, I want to see them play inside Lindsey Nelson? How do you not watch that Drew Gilbert walk-off and think, man, let's play in Hattiesburg instead?
Right.
So,
and I mean that environment.
Here's the one thing: if they want to go RPI, Tennessee's ahead of Southern Miss in the RPI. So,
right, that game will be a lot. That series would be a lot of fun in Knoxville. The LSU one was a lot of fun. Notre Dame was fun for some parts of it. It'll be a lot of fun in Knoxville.
Yeah, agreed.
All right.
And poor Charlotte, they didn't have a chance.
Dog, I'm tired. Yeah. No, they didn't. They did not.
Tennessee outscored them 17-3 in the 2 games that they played. Just overmatched.
That we did have a question about regarding Charlotte. I like this question.
Okay.
You think Cam Fisher plays for the Vols next year?
Dude, I'd be knocking on that door.
You got to say, hey, welcome back home.
The bad thing is he's probably going to go in the draft, so it probably doesn't matter. But
right.
It would, yeah, maybe. I mean, we have a 5-year player in basketball coming on as a walk-on. I mean, can NIL take care of Cam Fisher too?
Why not? Tell me why not.
Exactly.
The Stanford A&M game. Okay. Oh, that was a home run. It's 6-4 in the bottom of the second. Again, I just love that there's ball on right now. Several games on.
There's so many games on.
It is actually insane. Actually.
And I don't even know when half these games started because Vanderbilt they're in the top of the 9th, down 2-1, and it was delayed for 3 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So I have no clue where these games started, so I don't know where we're at. But Tennessee was the first to book their trip to the Super Regionals. So,
yep. And then I don't know,
banner.
An hour later, Vanderbilt got eliminated.
Yeah.
Sorry. No.
Yeah, sucks to suck.
Hey, Tim Corbin's running a good program there. So, hang that banner.
Yeah. Cool. He can get you to the majors. But so can Tony Vitello, apparently. Ben Joyce is already there. So there's my recruiting pitch for why you should select Tennessee over Vanderbilt. If you want to play longer in college, do you want to play in the postseason longer, come to Tennessee. We can get you in the majors. We also have Frank Anderson, so those pitchers. I don't even know who Vanderbilt's pitching coach is. Everybody knows who Frank Anderson is.
It's a good point. Some more good points over here.
Yep.
Oh, dude, I got logged out of ESPN. It's so annoying. I hate everything. Sorry, I'm trying to see what the scores of these games are.
So I can read them off if you want me to.
I mean, it's fine. I don't know what's happened. Someone's, I guess, changed my password. I've given people my login for ESPN Plus, and I shouldn't do that. Talking to you, Johnny. There's nothing more I hate in the world than having to reset a password when I know the password.
Also, can we talk about how Tennessee wasn't on TV tonight?
Yeah, I kind of was curious how that worked in the sense
all these games delayed and you couldn't just throw it on a channel somewhere.
Well, I just don't understand why if ESPN Plus is open SEC Network is open, why don't you can do it on both? You can do it on ESPN Plus and SEC Network. I don't understand it. Thankfully, I have both, but it's still frustrating.
Do they just need to increase their viewership or something? Because I know that Tennessee Clemson game was one of the most watched games, and I'm sure I'd rather watch Tennessee than Dallas Baptist and Oral Roberts or Coastal Carolina and Ryder.
Hey. Chanticleers are here, baby. Don't hate on
also, that. I thought about this. Having the name Ryder is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You just print shirts that say Ryder and then die after it. That's awesome.
It's a good name for sure. All right, anything else for this regional before we move on in the show?
No, I just love it. Moving on up. And I was talking to Caleb about this. You're kind of playing with house money now. You're already to the same point that this team last year that you've been compared to all season long. You're here at the same point, and then to get to Omaha, it's either Penn or Southern Miss. So it sets up nicely for you. You should be playing at home, and I just think that plays in Tennessee's favor. The way Tennessee's pitching right now, playing defense, and then the way you're able to get some veterans going like Griffin Merritt, Zane Denton, and Christian Moore, I think is right where you want to be at this point in time in the season.
Yeah. No, the way the Super Regional is set up,
that place is going to be a madhouse.
They've got to be very happy
when it's announced. It's going to be a madhouse next weekend.
Yeah, for sure, 1,000%, and I can't wait.
Probably going to be a warm one.
Probably going to be what?
A warm one.
Oh yeah, just a little bit. Maybe let's hope we get the night game slots too.
Yeah.
We'll hope that. Hopefully we get the also, I don't want it to go to 3 games, but hopefully it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal, not Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah. I think they switch between.
Yeah,
that would suck.
LSU is Saturday, Sunday, which was good because it was only 2 games. But I would prefer Friday, Saturday over Saturday, Sunday, personally.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, we ain't playing Monday anyway.
Totally fair. But yeah, I'd prefer a Friday night game over a Sunday game, personally.
Yeah. Yeah, night games forever.
There's just something about them lights, man.
Yeah.
Give me them lights.
Yeah, seeing balls just fly into the night, that's something to see.
That's baseball.
Yeah.
Florida just won, so they play tomorrow against Texas Tech to advance.
Yep.
I believe that's correct. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, let's so obviously we talked about the Lady Vols. They'll play Oklahoma State. They beat Oklahoma State. They'll play Florida State. They got to win twice.
So they're in the Final
Florida.
Four, correct?
Yes, they are in the Final Four. It's Stanford and Oklahoma on the other side.
It's pretty awesome.
Oh, it is awesome. I mean, everything's cool. I mean, you got everything's cool. You also beat Alabama to get to the Final Four too.
Weren't they like the first team eliminated?
I think so.
Good for them.
Don't hold me to that, but I think
They'd
so.
be the first at something, right?
Let's say they did. Don't tell me. Don't correct me. Let's say they did.
Yeah, be the first at something.
Exactly. All right. Anything else to add to those two things? All right. Let's talk 8-game schedule then. Let's talk a little SEC football real quick.
Yeah. So with this is for 2024. They're going to have an 8-game conference schedule, but they're going to do away with divisions, which I think that just makes sense.
Kind of have to.
The 8 and 9 game, I guess, I just don't really know what the difference is. I guess, other than you get better matchups, but aren't they going to go where you have to play a Power 5 team as well?
I haven't read that. I said that on Thursday. I think you have to if you don't go to 9-game.
Yeah, but I think they're either going to play 8-1 or 9-1. So you're even having to play 9 Power 5s, but also what is a Power 5 team anymore with all these conferences?
No, for sure. I mean, Cincinnati's Power 5 now. Right. So yeah, I definitely understand that. I just think with 16 teams, I think ideally you want to play as many conference games as possible. And I think with the way, like you said, there's going to be a lot of changes over the next few years with alignment. I mean, I just think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. I think it's crazy to say, hey, we're going to add more teams, but keep the schedule the same. I think that's crazy, personally.
Yeah.
If you add more teams, I just feel like you have to add more games with the teams in your division.
So it'd be the 3. I guess they would go to the pods, correct?
Not pods, just permanent.
Yeah, you'll have 3 permanent opponents.
Yeah.
And then 6 rotating.
Well, I think now you'd have to have, if you did 9, you could do that. I think now you'd have to do 2 permanent and 5 rotating.
That's 7.
Or 6, sorry. 6 rotating to get to everyone. And it's just because what's dumb right now is that you only play, there's West opponents that you only play every 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's dumb. There should be teams in your conference you never play.
I'm thinking you get 3 permanent, so that'd be 4. You basically Tennessee would have their 3, so every team would have their 3. Is that right?
Yeah,
that would equal 16.
I'm trying to picture what you're saying. So if you did 3 and 8. There would essentially be one that over-rotated, I believe, right? A team that over-rotated. So you'd have 4 that would rotate on that 4-year schedule. And then one of the 12 remaining would have to over-rotate. So you'd almost have another, not non-rotating because you wouldn't play them every year, but one that you played more commonly, or the schedule would be. So, I mean, it works. It works out to where you see everyone. I'm not saying it doesn't work. Don't get me wrong. But it just adds a weird scheduling thing. Because right now, the schedule, as dumb as it is, it works. You just don't see them as often, but it works.
Right, and I think Tennessee benefits either way because they're not going to have Georgia and Alabama on their schedule every year.
Surely not. Surely there's no way Georgia's one of our non-rotating.
Yeah, so I think it'll be Alabama, Vanderbilt, and somebody – South Carolina or Kentucky?
I would think Kentucky or Florida.
I thought when they made it out, I thought it was.
There were some. I don't think there's been any
projections.
I'm sure there are projections now that it's moving that way, like real projections. But I think then it was more like assumed projections.
Because I thought it was Georgia.
I think there was South Carolina was on one of them.
Yeah,
one of ours. There were a couple different. I think there were 2 or 3 that were probably the likely ones.
Mm-hmm. So Georgia, Florida would definitely still be a thing, probably.
Correct. Georgia, Florida is still a thing. Florida, LSU, and then I think it would make sense for Tennessee to potentially be that third one for Florida.
Damn, that sucks.
Oh, it sucks. I mean, Alabama gets Auburn and Tennessee for sure, and then they probably get LSU.
Yeah. Eek.
Yeah. Tennessee could end up getting unless we get shafted on the very back end. Tennessee could end up getting a fairly friendly.
So that's why
schedule.
Nick Saban wants the 9 games, because he thinks it'll even it out a little bit.
Probably. Or he thinks Alabama has a better advantage in 9 games. Is probably the right answer. Yeah, I don't know how it would have finalized. I don't know how it would all be exact, but yeah, I mean, now that you say it, I mean, yeah, I don't hate the 8 with the 3 non-rotating, but I just think if you add more teams, you should understand that you're probably gonna have more games. Like, why did you vote those teams in if you don't want to go to 9 games?
Yeah. And also, if you're scheduling a Power 5 team, I mean, like, how are you going to make that fair?
What do you mean? Yeah. I don't think you can. I don't think you can limit that necessarily, unfortunately. I think that's just what it is.
You try to play a crappy one. Because, I mean, like, Alabama, like Tennessee playing Ohio State and Tennessee playing Rutgers is totally different.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. I mean, to be fair to the point of, to Alabama, is them playing Texas is very different than Tennessee playing Virginia to open the season in a neutral site. So, yeah, I don't know how you make that fair. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
It's interesting. And, again, I'm cool with getting away from divisions. I just think they're kind of pointless. And anything to get Georgia and Alabama off Tennessee's schedule every single year, I'm for.
Yeah, I'm with that too.
And also, like, this is just for 2024. Who knows what the SEC looks like in 2 to 3 years? I mean, it might just be the SEC, like, and that's it. Or the SEC and the Big Ten, and we have a big national championship at the end of it. I have no clue what it'll look like, but isn't that just kind of recreating the BCS?
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, that's what it's going to be. Is we're gonna recreate the BCS here soon.
Nice. I can't wait. When is the 2024? That's when the college football playoff starts. The 12 team.
Yeah.
Correct? It's not this year, right?
Were they on a?
I thought it was 2024. Okay,
it is 2024. But is it 2024 or the 2024 season? Because next year will be the 2024 playoff. Damn. Like this year will be the 2024 playoff.
Well, it's like it feels like 98. We actually played that game in 99.
Correct.
Ugh.
Okay, not next season's playoffs. Okay, so yes, 2024 season, 2025 playoffs.
Cool.
All right. We got any more questions? Or do you want to talk about? I don't have anything else for 8-game schedule.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you had to pick Tennessee's 3, one's going to be Alabama. Who's your other 2?
That I want?
Yeah.
Give me Vandy, Kentucky.
Okay.
Give me Kentucky over South Carolina. I'm sorry, I'm sorry to Kentucky fans, but right now, what program's going to be better in 3 years? South Carolina. I'm not saying Kentucky's going to be bad. I think Kentucky's going to be Kentucky. Which this Kentucky program is better than Kentucky 7 years ago. So yeah, that's I don't know. What do you got?
I'm cool with either one of those, but I do agree that South Carolina is probably a better one, and those are like easy places to go to as well.
Right.
I think you still want to have close proximity where fans can still travel. I mean, Tennessee fans are going to travel regardless, but you're going to get a lot more fans at Kentucky than you will at Missouri.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So
1,000%, and vice versa. More Kentucky fans at Tennessee than Missouri fans at Tennessee. So.
Right. Missouri has fans.
Fair. Fair.
All right. Most important.
What do I got here?
Got something.
I got one fail. Let me see if I can me see if I got a most important.
I got a Trey Richardson from TCU. Hit 3 home runs today against Arkansas. So that's awesome. He had a total of 10 RBIs. He hit 2 grand slams. One was in the first inning, and I think one was in the third. So, I mean, and they end up winning 20-5, 26, something like that.
And they get to see him tomorrow if they win.
Yeah.
So good for them.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one. I can't show this. It's a video. I won't show it. In the Florida State Oklahoma State game, center fielder ball gets hit into center. She throws it to second base. Girl tries to turn a double. Not only gets tagged out hard in the face as she's sliding into second. I mean, her helmet came off. She got tagged so hard and got out. Insult to injury.
Dang, that's kind of what happened to that runner for Clemson yesterday. I mean, he just ate dirt all the way to the bag and was still out.
So yeah, that's don't love that, But
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I did forget we do have a friend we need to talk about real quick. You want me to go ahead and do that?
Yeah, do that, and then we can go to fails unless you got any more importance.
Okay. So check out our good friends at Knoxville Tours. They have tours you don't want to miss. If you give them a call today at 865-688-6232 and mention More Important Issues, that's us, you'll get an exclusive offer on their 5-day MLB tour. The offer will include 1 night in Cincinnati and 3 nights in Chicago. That will include 3 baseball tickets to 3 different games, stadium tours, a city tour, and more. Give them a call today at 865-688-6232 for more details on the August 4th through 8th Motor Coach Tour. Those games will include the Reds versus the Nationals, the Cubs versus the Braves, and the White Sox versus the Yankees. So get to see all those stadiums and get to see some really good teams that they're playing too. So go check them out. Again, 865-688-6232 and mention More Important Issues to get an exclusive offer.
Love it.
Yep.
Go Cubs, go. You got any more most importance?
I don't. I got a couple fails.
I've got one most important, and then one that kind of turns into a fail. First one for me, I think I did set a record on Friday. I did 2 dog reviews in a day. I feel like that's pretty impressive. I mean, especially at Iguani, those are big dogs. Like, that's a meal dog. It's not a snack dog. It's a meal dog, and I did it. I did 2 of them. One with pimento cheese, phenomenal. But I also had planned to do. I played 5 rounds of golf this weekend. So I plan to do 5 dog reviews, and I only did 2. So I did let us down. Sevierville didn't have dogs. Didn't even check Wild Laurel. I did do a dog review Saturday night. I never posted it, but I grilled my own dog.
Okay.
We made burgers, and then I just why not do a dog at home? And I did. It was good. Not great, but it was good. Maybe I'll post. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Awesome. That's a fail. Oh, that's your most important.
Well, also fail that I was supposed to do 5 and only did 2. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good.
My fail is the person behind home plate, like just slinging around those balloons.
That's your fail? She did that for 5.5 hours. There's got to be some credit there. I mean, she never stopped. She never stopped.
Okay, maybe my fail's on the people that bought tickets behind her.
Yeah, that had to suck. It sucked to watch her on TV.
Yeah, they're just like.
Well, we talked, and I told you it was really funny when the first guy that struck out when bases were loaded, no outs. Everyone behind home plate had their phones out to videotape it, except for the girl who was committed to waving those balloons no matter what. She did not care what was happening in the game. She was waving those balloons.
Also, I'm glad there wasn't a fight on the field. Did you see the lady that was, they kind of go to when they did reviews?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she would destroy everybody on that field.
Yeah, she did not look like someone to be messed with.
I mean, she had sleeves rolled up and everything. She was ready to throw down.
She looked mean.
Yeah.
That's probably why the umps didn't want to go review that one play.
Yeah, she looks like she teaches CrossFit. I do have a fail, and it's Horns 247. So I mean, this garbage. I read it because I was like, "What?" This is the headline. Tennessee coach Josh Heupel sends message to Oklahoma, Texas ahead of 2024 SEC arrival. I'm thinking, did Josh Heupel really throw shade at these two programs? And then I read the quote, and all he said was, "This is the most competitive league in America, and that's the talent that's on the field every Saturday. You look at the NFL draft, the talent of the coaches and the resources that all of these programs have. You're competing at the highest level from top to bottom. You better show up every Saturday." He didn't even mention the two teams.
No.
I feel like that's just a random quote that he said. And they just put this in there as hey, his warning shot, Texas, Oklahoma. I mean,
yeah,
what did he say that wasn't true?
I saw you post that earlier in the week, and it made me giggle.
Yeah. The guy replied back, and I don't even know what he was saying. I was like, "Congrats, mission accomplished. You got me to read it, but
yeah, you did. He got a click. I mean, the clickbait worked, Landon.
He got me, but good God, man."
Ben McKee did just tweet out, "Those who cover college baseball at the national level seem to think Southern Miss is a better spot to host a super regional than Tennessee. Vols need to be big Penn fans. They've got 2 games to knock off Southern Miss." So seems that the national talk is trending towards Hattiesburg, Mississippi somehow.
God, dude. I think Tennessee fans might burn Hattiesburg to the ground where they can't host a super regional if that happens.
Yeah, not fun. Not fun. Hopefully that doesn't happen because I'm excited at the thought of Tennessee. I know with Southern Miss still, very much in contention. I know it's possible. So my hope is not super high, but I will be very sad.
Yeah. I mean, that should show you
also
how much. I mean,
also Penn has to win once.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's the only thing. Penn doesn't have to win twice.
Yeah.
And it's tied 1-1 in the bottom of the second currently. So that game's going to be going late if you're in the mood to stay up.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not. I'm exhausted.
Big Penn fans, but Hattiesburg? Have you been to Mississippi? It's good.
Yeah, we ate at a Raising Cane's in Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
And listen, I will gladly talk trash. That Raising Cane's was delicious. I can't talk trash about it.
You didn't have to stay there, though.
I didn't. You're absolutely right. Just wanted to say, I mean, just that meal was good, and I appreciated it.
Got me heated. Oh my God.
Landon's about to go on a tweeting spree as soon as we get out of here. I can't wait. I'm about to fire off some hot ones.
Oh my God.
The Barstool Clemson account, did you see it? Speaking of tweets, fired off one. Something about how it's absolutely quiet in here. I think it was, I don't know when they tweeted it, honestly. They never had just a nail in the coffin moment for Tennessee. The one that they were closest to was bases loaded. They didn't score any runs. But yeah, they tweeted that, and then I mean their reply, every single reply was something from a Tennessee fan. It was awesome. Be careful. They'll find you. The Vandy boys, they're getting tweeted at. Did you see Arkansas's final tweet from that 20-5 game?
Mm-mm.
They used a picture of a guy taking care of the field in between games.
Yeah, I saw that. You just spray in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to lose it on Twitter, so get ready.
Love it. Let's get you out of here because you do got to go to bed soon. It's 10:30. It's more important issues after dark. Guys, it's been fun. Stick around Landon's Twitter here afterwards because about to be some tweets fired off.
Livid.
Don't even think about it. Just type send. Type send. Type send.
Yeah.
Don't think.
Go Vols. Heading to Supers. Should be in Knoxville. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.